Hi friends, today's topic is on Azure Firewall. We will talk about a basic difference between Network Security Group and Azure Firewall. So network security is a fundamental requirement in today's cloud scenario, and there are two popular features that provides that security functionality is Azure Firewall and Network Security Group. There are major difference between these two, so we will cover some of them and then we will cover a scenario for which I have designed this particular diagram. We will do the practical by creating this particular scenario in the Azure, and we will see how we can achieve certain URLs to allow and block via Azure Firewall. So we'll just first talk about the basic difference between NSG and the Azure Firewall. So network security group is a firewall that operates at OSI layer 3 and 4 to filter ingress and egress traffic from resources on an Azure virtual network. Okay, and it cannot do web filtering. And NSG is more targeted to the resources deployed on a particular subnet or on a network interface. It works on 5 tuple hash wherein it verifies the source IP, source port, destination port, and the protocol. On the basis of this, it can allow and deny traffic. Whereas Azure Firewall, it can operate from layer 3 to layer 7. So it has all the functionality of what NSG provides, plus it has some additional functionalities with the help of which we can operate on the application layer, just like web filtering we can do with this. We can block and allow certain sites based on the URLs. It can also do packet inspections. There are a lot to it. So these are certain differences between Azure Firewall and network security groups that you can go through. And let's jump to the practical that we will be covering today. Our scenario is, so let me just walk you through about this particular diagram first. So I will be creating two machines in the East-West region under the VNet 172. And I will be creating two virtual machines in West US region under the virtual network 192 range. And both of these virtual networks are connected through a route table, and this route table will forward all the traffic to the firewall. So traffic which needs to go to internet will go via Azure Firewall. So initially, when you deploy the Azure Firewall, it has all deny rules. Basically, nothing is allowed. So without creating any allowed rule, we will try to access google.com on SP1 work machine and SP2 work machine, and you will see the google.com is by default blocked. Post that, we will create allow rule, application rule, with the help of which google.com will start working from these. And this SP1 RDP and SP2 RDP, these are supporting VMs which will have a public IP. From this particular VM, we will be accessing this SP work VM, which will not have a public IP. So that without public IP, it will try to go send the traffic through this Azure Firewall. Okay, so let me just start deploying the VMs. So scenario I've mentioned here also. Internet traffic from SP1 work and SP2 is forwarded via Azure Firewall. SP1 and SP2 both won't be able to access google.com by default. We'll create application rule after which SP1 and SP2 will be able to access google.com. And this application rule will be created on the Azure Firewall. And during this, we will be covering the route table part also. So let's switch to Azure portal, and I will create the VMs first. So the resource group would be East Org. SP1-work. I'm creating this East US region VMs first. Mm, okay, so the work machine will not have any public IP. Let me modify this a little bit. This one will have public IP. This is the audio machine, and this one will also have a public IP slash. Yeah. So right now I'm creating work machine. So this one will not have a public IP. This will use default. We'll switch to networking. SP1 VNet. And SP1 VNet has IP range of 172.0.0/16. And here it has SP network. And the address range is 172.0.1.0/24. SP range of 132.0.0.0/24. So this one we are creating work, SP work. So this will go on the work subnet. Public IP is none. Okay, and create. Okay. So SP1 hyphen work machine is getting provision. Parallelly, I will create SP1 RDP machine also, which will go on the same resource location. One RDP. Because we HTML. Okay. This will have RDP and switch to networking. This will be on RDP subnet, public IP. Rest everything will be default. Review and create. Done. Okay, so we are done with the creation of this East US region, two VMs, SP1-work and SP1-RDP. Now I will be creating these two VM, SP2 work and SP2 RDP, which will be provisioned in the West US region. So let's start. Your West RG resource group is SP1-work. This would be in West US. There will be no public IP or the RDP access to this particular machine. Okay, now work. Okay, I will create SP1 VNet. and the address space is 192.0.0.0/16. Range, subnet range will be sp1 hyphen work. The work subnet is 192.0.1.0/24. The other one is sp1. I think I'm doing something wrong here. Since this is going in the west, this should be sp2. As per diagram, this should be sp2. Let me just correct this. Let me go to the working section. Let me start all over again. sp2 west, this. I think the port is none. This will not select. It will be by default. sp2 VNet. Range would be 192. Subnet 19.0.1.0/24. Other one is sp2 RTP 192.0.0.0/24. Okay, rest everything will be default. And create. We'll create this. Now I'll create sp2 RDP VM. It will go under. Okay. Okay, sp2 RG. DPVM, it was in West US. RDP will be allowed. Let's jump to networking section, sp2 VNet, RDP subnet. This will have public IP. Rest everything will be default. Review and create. And I will create this. Okay, while this is getting provision, I will quickly create this VNet also, which is required for Azure Firewall. And the VNet name would be Hub VNet, and it is going to provision in the East US region. So let's go there. Create. It will be in the East US region. So I'm going to use the existing resource group. But it doesn't matter. You can also create a new one if you want, but I'm just using the existing one. And the resource name would be hub vnet. Address space is in this 10.0.0.0/16. So I will use that same address space, and this would be the default. If you want, you can change the name of this default, but I'll just keep it as the same. All right, so I'll do this. Okay, so let's see what all the things we have created. We have created this East US region VMs. We have created these West US region VMs. I have also created the VNet for Azure Firewall. Let's create the route table, RT1 and RT2. Let's go here. Let's go to route table, create route table. And the first one would be East US. So this would be our route table 1. And create, done. Let's create the other one. Create. Other one would be on the West US. So West US region. Create. Just going to verify one thing on the resource block. This is in the West US. This is in the East US. Perfect. Okay, so this is also done. There's one more requirement for the Azure Firewall. Wherever you will be provisioning the Azure Firewall, there is a specific subnet required for the firewall, and the subnet name should be written Azure Firewall subnet with /26 range. So I will create this subnet on the virtual network hub VNet. So hub VNet subnet. I will add. This is Azure Firewall subnet. Okay, let's do one thing. If we don't create it, let's see what happens. Okay, will it let me create the firewall? First, let's see that. So I'll go to firewall, create firewall. So yeah, let's go here, East region. This is the firewall. I'll just create in the East region. I'll just keep it as none. So there are certain SKUs, basic, standard, and premium. I will go with standard. You can read more details about it in the Azure documentation. But basic is provide just the basic functionality. Standard is little higher, and the premium will be super expensive with all the features. I'll go with the standard one. Okay, and initially we'll go with the classic firewall. Okay, choose the virtual network. Yeah, virtual network we have already created. This is hub VNet. Okay, you can see the error. This virtual network must have a subnet name, Azure Firewall subnet. This we haven't created yet. We have to create this, then only it will allow us to move forward. So let's go ahead and create that subnet first. We'll go to hub VNet, subnet, and subnet. This is Azure Firewall subnet. And the subnet range is 1/26. Here, 26. Okay. The syntax should remain the same. Azure Firewall subnet. Save. Okay. This is getting. Let's go to firewall again. I'll go to firewall. This I'll go with standard. With the classic, choose network existing. Oh, this is not coming. Refresh this. There seems to be some replication issue that I think we just need to wait for some time. Let me just cross check. This is in the East US. If we go subnet, if I see, I do have the subnet permission. So let me go again. Create file. This is coming. It was displayed earlier, but now it is not coming up. Okay, you may come across this kind of issues in Azure, and there is a way how to work around this particular issue. As you can see that I'm trying to provision my resource in the East US region, but I'm actually located in India. So maybe, because of the distance, we are in the Asia region and then we are trying to provision something in the America region. We are not able to see the resources which are already provisioned. It may gonna take some time for us to show up here. The workaround is if you could log in to the East US region VM, that way you may be able to. So I do see. Oh, actually, I could see that I have got a lot of public IPs here. RDP machine requires public IP, but the work machine does not need the public IP. Let me switch it off first quickly. Go to interface, IP address. It is saved. Save the SP2 work also doesn't need the public IP. Yes. Let's refresh this. Okay, let's try again. Maybe it may show up now. Oh, okay. As you can see that it is started showing up now. Okay, let's try that now. So you see the firewall, HTTPS, standard, classic, use existing, and it is on the hub. Okay, and for choose public IP, we will click on public IP, which is firewall public IP. Okay, that's it. So let's go ahead and create this. Let's switch back to the diagram. So we have provisioned the resources in East US region. these two VMs. We have also provisioned the virtual networks. On the West US region, we have provisioned these resources. We have provisioned the virtual network. On the firewall side, on the East US region, we have created the firewall. We have created the virtual networks. Now let's go to the routable part. Let's go to routable. Okay. So one of the routable we have already provisioned, which is on the east. Let's provision the routable 2, which is on the west. Let's use. Okay. Now after that, the second part comes the configuration of the routable. We have to associate these routable with these respective virtual networks. And also for internet traffic will always be shown with the number 0.0.0.0/0. So anything which is supposed to go there will go via the firewall. And we also need to get the firewall IP first. What is the firewall IP? I'll just show you that. Go to the firewall. Um, the firewall. Should this be here? Oh, I think it's not fully provisioned. Okay, by the time it is getting provisioned, let's configure the route table. So RT1, first we need to attach which subnet you want to utilize. We go to subnet option, association, and this would be on SP1 subnet work, or the RDP with the work subnet. Okay. The same way for RT2 subnet association. This would be on SP2. It will be on work subnet. Perfect. All right. So this is done. Now, by default, if we here, if we try to access the VM, this is my SP1. This is my SP. You can see this is my SP1. I'll connect SP1. This is my SP2. This is my SP2. Okay. Okay, let's see from these machines if I'm able to connect the respective VM. Okay. This is SP2. No, inside of my, we just disable the content security first. This creates draft panel. This is off. Let me also turn off the NLM security on SP1. Okay, so from SP1, I'll just try to connect to SP1 work. Let me just see. SP1 work is this. Try to connect, and it's working. Okay, so now when this is getting connected, I'll just also try to connect. Let's see, from SP1 RDP, are we able to connect to the SP2 work? I do this SP2 work. What do you think? Will it work? It will not work because there is no reachability between these two subnets. Virtual networks, basically 192 has no idea, whereas 172.0.0.0/16 does not have any idea about 192.0.0.0/16. So it will not function. Now, if I try to connect from work machine, do you think will it work? It will not work because it is falling on the same virtual network, and that virtual network does not have any visibility. So if I try to connect, will it work? It will not function. But from each side RDP machine, I'm able to connect to the respective work machine. Why? Because that is provision on the same virtual network. Okay, it is connecting. Okay, let's see whether do we have the internet reachability here on the VM. What do you think? Will we have the internet reachability? We will have, I think. Yeah, I think we have the, by default, the internet connectivity is there. So now once we modify the route table, the internet connectivity will be blocked. Okay. So let's go there. Okay, so let's go to the route table and modify it. So if I go to the route tables, route table 2 subnet, it is attached to this particular subnet, and this one also attached to the work subnet. Now comes the configuration part. I'm sorry, the routes part. We have to define the route, and route name would be internet. Destination IP range would be 0.0.0.0/0. Anything on the internet. Next hop would be the virtual appliance. Okay, before I go there, I just want to show you the firewall IP. See, firewall IP is 10.0.0.1. 1.4. This is my firewall. So here I'm defining in it, this one is attached to this particular virtual network, which is 172. And here we are saying anything which needs to go to internet, go via firewall. So virtual appliance would be my firewall IP. So this will be a virtual appliance and it will be 10.0.1.4. Yeah, I'll add this. Now, same goes for route table 2. We need to add route to net the address 0.0.0/0. Next hop would be virtual appliance 10.0.1.4. And okay, now this is map. Let's see, do we still have the internet access there? This one is not working. Okay. Now this one, let me just cross check the route table 2. Something going on the. Okay. Now we also need to do one more thing. We also have to establish the VNet peering between this particular subnet and this particular subnet. Okay. So that there should be a connectivity between this 172 and 10. So in order to establish the connectivity, we go on SP1 net peering, add peering, SP1 to hub net, allow anything coming from so from this particular virtual network to the other one, allow any traffic from other virtual network to this SP1, is it allowed? This is also allowed. And other side, define hub slash SP1 resource ID now virtual network is SP1 hub net. And same we have to do on SP2. SP2 has hub up to SP2 virtual network is hub at. Okay, so pairing is also done. Just cross check the route table one more time. SP2. I think this should not, the internet should not work now on this particular machine. Let me just do check, cross check one more time. Maybe there is a public IP or something. Let me just cross check. Okay, this one is fine. Virtual networks. So this connection to router 2 and connected devices. Okay. SP2 work also going on this particular subnet, which is wrong. SP2 should be on 0.1, not on 0.0.0. Okay. So we have to change this subnet association for SP2 VM. So for that, we need to power off the machine. DSP2 work on stop. SP2. This subnet, this is -2. Interface association. This would go under the. So now we can see the IP range has changed and 192.0.1.4. Speaking here, machine to work start. Now you will see that this machine also can't go to the internet. Why? Because for all the internet traffic, we have attached a route table here, and in the route table we have defined for all internet traffic, it should forward the traffic on the firewall. And by default on the firewall, if there is nothing is allowed, by default, it will consider everything is blocked. So let's test this out. This one. Okay. So within the same virtual network, it has the connectivity, but let's see if this machine can go to the internet or not. Okay, you can see it is denied. And same way, if I go here, this is also denied. Reason, no rule attached. So this is the practical for Azure Firewall. Now we will create allow rule for one particular website on the Azure Firewall. To complete this, we'll go to this rules, application rule, application rule. Allow rule, rule priority 200. Tag leave bank. Allow. Source IP would be anything. Protocol would be HTTP HTTPS protocol cannot be a wildcard, otherwise it will give you the error. Invalid protocol. So protocol you have to define whatever you want. And here I've defined www.google.com star will come. Okay, let's verify this. What's this? Okay. This is still not allowed. Let's cross check again. Okay, let's check this out here. Okay. Just check the rule one more time. Will source I type IP address any protocol this should go to google.com. So let me just try it one more time. I can check out now. Let me close this. I type this https google.com. Okay. I think the firewall took some time to update the rule which we have created. So I'll just try again. Okay, so this concludes the practical of Azure Firewall, and here we have also dealt with route tables. We have also dealt with VNet peering. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for joining. Thanks.